Il est en terre ottomane, mais il ne répondra pas devant un tribunal ottoman. Il sera jugé selon le droit français.
Istanbul, 1850. A French citizen attacks an Ottoman man. The incident takes place in the heart of the Ottoman Empire. Yet, it is not the Ottoman authorities who will judge him. One city, one crime, but two different laws. How could this happen? The answer lies in the legal system known as the capitulations, a set of privileges that allowed certain foreigners to escape local jurisdiction. Let's see how this system evolved into a form of extraterritoriality, how it spread during the age of imperialism, and how it helped create hierarchies within international law. Was international law really equal from the beginning?
Deux justices, une seule ville. During the 16th century, the Ottoman Empire was one of the most powerful political and military powers in the Mediterranean region. At the same time, European states such as France wanted to expand their commercial activities and diplomatic influence in the East. In this context, the Ottoman sultans granted a series of privileges to foreign merchants and diplomats, especially the French. These agreements became known as the capitulations. At first, the capitulations were not considered unequal treaties. They were voluntary diplomatic and commercial agreements intended to facilitate trade, protect foreign merchants, and strengthen political alliances between France and the Ottoman Empire. One of the most important consequences of the capitulations was the development of consular jurisdiction inside the Ottoman Empire. Under this system, French citizens living in Ottoman territory were judged by French consular courts applying French law rather than by Ottoman courts. French consuls were therefore given judicial authority over their own nationals abroad. As a result, different legal systems coexisted within the same Ottoman cities. An Ottoman subject and a French citizen living in Istanbul could be judged by completely different courts even for similar acts.
At the time, this system was considered acceptable within the framework of diplomatic relations and commercial cooperation. However, as European influence expanded during the 19th century, these privileges increasingly came to be seen as symbols of foreign interference and limitations on Ottoman sovereignty.
Le standard de civilisation désigne le cadre idéologique et juridique implicite du droit international du XIXe siècle, à travers lequel les puissances européennes définissaient les conditions d'appartenance à la société internationale. Il ne s'agissait pas d'un critère juridique neutre, mais d'un mécanisme de hiérarchisation qui distingue les États dits civilisés de ceux considérés comme non civilisés, en fonction de normes politiques, juridiques et administratives définies principalement par l'Europe. The transformation of extraterritoriality did not remain confined to the Ottoman Empire. It gradually expanded into a global legal model, which came to be applied across Asia through a growing system of unequal treaties. In the 19th century China, Britain exported large quantities of Indian opium to reduce its trade deficit with China. When the Qing government moved to suppress its opium trade, Britain launched the First Opium War. Following its victory, Britain imposed the Treaty of Nanjing, which opened treaty ports and granted major concessions. The subsequent Treaty of Bogue gave British citizens the right to be tried in British consular courts rather than Chinese courts. Similar extraterritorial privilege were later extended to the United States and France. Extraterritoriality in China was more than a diplomatic arrangement. Foreign nationals were expelled from Chinese law and placed under the jurisdiction of their own consular courts. This restricted Chinese judicial sovereignty and undermined its ability to maintain an undefined legal order. As a result, extraterritoriality functioned as a structural form of legal inequality that weakened Chinese sovereignty. A similar pattern initially applied to Japan. In the 1850s, Western powers, led by the United States and European states, imposed unequal treaties on Japan as well. Japan was forced to accept extraterritorial rights for foreigners, as well as fixed low tariff rates. However, after the Meiji Restoration, Japan actively adopted Western legal institutions and pursued rapid modernization, while also learning and internalizing the imperial strategies used by the Western's power. Japan eventually reproduced the same treaty model it has once been subjected to, applying it to Joseon Korea. Following the Yunyo incident in Kanwa Island in 1875, Japan imposed the Treaty of Kanwa in 1876. The treaty granted extraterritorial rights to Japanese nationals, placing them under Japanese consular jurisdiction rather than Korean courts. As a result, Korea's judicial sovereignty was weakened, as the state could not longer fully enforce its law within its own territory.
These practices were often justified through the idea of standard of civilization. According to this Western legal and political logic, non-European societies were considered insufficiently civilized to judge Western citizens according to European standards of law and justice. Although the capitulations originally emerged from diplomatic cooperation, their meaning changed dramatically during the 19th century as European imperial power expanded. What began as diplomatic privilege would later become a symbol of inequality and foreign domination.
After the Second World War, the international legal order was fundamentally reorganized. The United Nations system established the principle of sovereign equality, declaring that all states are legally equal regardless of power or development level. Territorial sovereignty became the central foundation of international law, and the era of unequal treaties and classical extraterritoriality formally came to an end. This transformation was reinforced by legal developments such as the Treaty of Lausanne in 1923, which abolished the capitulations of the Ottoman Empire. Under this new system, law no longer followed the person but instead became strictly tied to territory. However, extraterritoriality did not completely disappear. Certain limited exceptions remain in modern international law. Diplomatic immunity, established under the Vienna Convention, protects diplomats from local jurisdiction. Status of Forced Agreements, or SOFAs, regulate the legal status of foreign military personnel stationed abroad. Unlike the old system, these arrangements are based on mutual consent between sovereign equals rather than imposed inequality.
On parle d'immunité diplomatique, le droit de ne pas être jugé par les lois du pays où l'on se trouve. Les accords sur le statut des forces définissent, eux, les règles applicables aux militaires étrangers stationnés sur un territoire souverain.
In the contemporary era, a new form of jurisdictional challenge has emerged in the digital space. Data flows across borders instantly, and global platforms such as Google and Meta operate across multiple jurisdictions simultaneously. This creates uncertainty over which legal system applies and which state has authority. In this sense, the central question of extraterritoriality returns in a new form. Who has the right to judge in a borderless world? Classical extraterritoriality was abolished, but exceptions remain, and digital space reintroduces jurisdictional ambiguity.
Extraterritoriality has not disappeared, it has transformed, and the question it raises remains the same.
Qui juge?